20 years ago, Anu Singh held 2 dinner parties to say goodbye to his friends. She and her boyfriend Giuseppe Singh, or Joe, supposedly had the pact to end their lives together, but Joe knew nothing about it. Joe Singh and Anu Singh met in Newcastle, Australia in 1995. The following year, the couple moved to Canberra while she was studying law at the Australian National University. Anu had been very obsessed with her image, particularly her body, since 1991, and she started taking weight loss pills after Singh recommended them to her. Anu was also reportedly obsessed with diets and spent hours working out at the gym. She told her friends that she would rather be dead than fat. In May 1997, Anu told a friend that she wanted to kill several people, including Joe, her ex-boyfriend Simon Walsh, and her doctors. In October 1997, a close friend of Anu's, Madhavi Rao, invited acquaintances to 2 dinner parties and told them that a crime would be committed. A witness reported that nothing unusual happened at the first dinner party on October 24th, and that Anu and Joe seemed to be doing very well in their relationship. Anu wanted to end Joe's life at the first dinner party, giving him sleeping pills and eventually giving him a lethal dose of heroin, and at the next dinner party, she wanted to end her own life. But that night, Anu didn't give Joe enough sleeping pills, so her plan didn't work, so Anu tried the plan again at the second dinner party, this time with success. Joe died on October 26, 1997, the morning after the second dinner party. Toxicology reports showed high levels of heroin and rohypnol in his body. Anu called an ambulance for Joe at 12:10 p.m. on October 26, and ambulance officers discovered that he had gone into cardiac arrest. Anu made it difficult for the ambulance to respond quickly, giving a false address. Anu told police at the scene that she had administered drugs to Joe. Police reported that when they arrived at the scene, Anu was in hysterics, and she struggled with police and ambulance officers as she was separated from Joe's body. Anu first appeared in court on October 28, 1997, charged with murder. Ryu was charged with conspiracy to commit murder and released on bail on November 5th. Anu applied for bail in December, and a psychiatrist presented evidence of a personality disorder. The prosecution identified Anu as someone who embodied strong narcissistic traits. At her 1999 trial, Anu's defense presented evidence that she had mental illness and diminished responsibilities, proposing an insanity defense. The court was told Anu believed she was dying from a muscle wasting disease. She complained of not being able to feel her head on her body and was bulimic. Prosecutors called an expert witness to testify that Anu had been rational and assertive the night she was arrested. On April 23rd, the judge found Anu guilty of manslaughter and sentenced her to 10 years in prison with a minimum period of 4 years without parole. Joe's mother was deeply unhappy with her short sentence. Anu was paroled in October 2001 after 4 years in prison, including pre-trial detention since 1997. She was returned to jail in April 2004 after violating the conditions of her parole by smoking marijuana, and released on August 5, 2004. So who is Anu Singh? Anu Singh was born in India on September 3, 1972. When Anu was a baby, the family immigrated from India to Sydney in 1973. Anu attended a Catholic secondary school in Newcastle until 1988. She graduated from her secondary school in 1990 and moved to Canberra the following year to study for a double degree in economics and law at the National University of Australia. Anu missed her life in Sydney and engaged in recreational drug use while living in Canberra. She also frequently called her parents' house. As a result, she postponed her studies for a year to return to her family in Sydney. It was around the same time that she had an affair with Joe, after breaking up with an ex-boyfriend Simon Walsh. Anu began an affair with Joe, began using recreational drugs daily, developed insomnia, and paced the house at night. Anu's break with Walsh was described as a major life event in court transcripts of her trial. During the relationship with Joe, she dieted excessively and became obsessed with her weight. Anu's problems seemed to stabilize briefly during the early days of her relationship with Joe, but they returned shortly after they moved in together. After being released from prison, Anu completed a master's degree in criminology at the University of Sydney and attended classes upon her release from Emu Plains Correctional Centre. In June 2005, concerns were raised in the New South Wales Parliament about Anu's employment at the Cabramatta Community Centre. The public was assured that Anu was not employed to distribute clean injection equipment and that her employment was temporary. In 2010, Anu began research at the University of Sydney Law School. In 2012, she earned a PhD for her thesis Offending Women, toward a greater understanding of women's pathways into and out of crime in Australia. She describes 5 main paths that led female prisoners to crime: unstable upbringing, sexual and physical abuse, drug use, economic marginalization, and mental illness. An edited version was released as a self-published ebook in 2016. The Twisted Crime became famous for its chilling cruelty, and she spoke to Sunday Night to explain herself. Forensic psychiatrist Professor Paul Mullins, who assessed Anu for court, supported her claims about her severe mental illness but clarified she knew the difference between right and wrong. This was a severely disturbed woman with mental illness. She was upset, she wasn't crazy. She knew what she was doing up to that point. She knew that she was wrong to a certain degree. She could control to a certain degree, but she was not in a normal state of mind, Mullins said. In the period before Joe's death, Anu was battling with a severe eating disorder and she blamed Joe for her addiction to the weight loss drug. She started telling people, friends, that she believed Joe had given her something that had poisoned her, and that's why she was now dying of this strange degenerative disorder which she believed she had. The man explained, Mr. Mullins. She wants to see herself as the victim in this. She is the victim. She will always be the victim in her mind, but in reality, Joe's family is the victim. The program also focuses on the complicity of the friends who participated in the dinners. Anu spoke to Sunday Night on one condition. Anu spoke to Sunday Night on the condition that she shows her apology to Joe's parents, Maria and Nino. But his parents remained stunned that despite confessing to the murder, Anu was only sentenced to 10 years for manslaughter due to diminished responsibilities, of which she only served 4. I would ask her why you killed him, Maria says, visibly upset. You didn't know what you were doing because I don't believe you. I will never ever forgive her as long as she lives. It will be better if she does not come near me. I will never forgive her, Maria continued.
A lot of people know your story, but your voice hasn't really been heard. Are there things people don't understand?
There are many things people don't understand. There's a lot of things that have been overlooked. One of the biggest things was I was suffering from very, very severe mental illness at the time.
The crime was portrayed in the non-fiction book Anu Singh's Constellation, 2004, by Helen Garner, which was later adapted into a film of the same name.
If you enjoyed this content, like and subscribe.